Today, we're talking about something counselors teach all the time: boundaries. We teach students how to set them, we help clients identify them, we explain healthy communication around them, and yet we are often the first to ignore our own. So today, we're diving into why boundaries are one of the greatest life skills counselors have, and why we forget to use them when we need them most. Welcome back to the Counselor HQ podcast. I'm your host, Noelle Rizzio. My downfall with boundaries is the "it's easier for me to just do it" trap, at work and at home. When I was the counseling department chair at the middle school, I was the go-to person for a lot, as I'm sure a lot of you are. Sometimes things that weren't even my job, but I had been there a long time and I knew a lot about a lot of things. So there were times people would come and ask me to do things that weren't actually my job because, one, they knew it would get done, and two, they knew it would get done well and quickly. At home, sometimes I'm in a hurry or whatever, and it's easier for me to just do something than to ask someone else to do it. But what are we teaching people when we just do things that aren't really our responsibility? Right? So that is what I want to talk about today. First, let's start out with the counselor boundary paradox. Here's the paradox. Counselors are trained in emotional intelligence. We understand limits. We talk about burnout prevention. We advocate for healthy relationships. But we also stay late, answer emails after hours, overextend ourselves, say yes when we mean maybe, say maybe when we mean no. And we justify it. It's for the kids. It's just this once. They really need me. I don't want to seem difficult, right? Boundaries get framed as selfish, but in reality, boundaries are protective. And we know this. They protect your energy, your time, your emotional capacity, your relationship, and your longevity in this field. Without them, even meaningful work becomes unsustainable. So what happens when we ignore our boundaries? Let's talk consequences. Gently, honestly, when we consistently ignore our boundaries, we start to notice, one, resentment. You say yes, you help, you show up, but internally you feel irritated, you feel drained, you feel unseen. Resentment is often caused by a boundary that wasn't honored. I saw it with myself and my husband when we first got married. I wasn't able to ask for help, and so he didn't know that I needed help, and he wasn't helping. So I resented him because I felt like I was doing all the work. Okay? So when I set that boundary, then that resentment went away because he knew what the expectation was, or what my expectation was, I guess. Another consequence of not setting boundaries is emotional exhaustion. When you don't have stopping points, everything blends together. Work stress and home life blend together. Emails over dinner blend together. Student crises you're thinking about at bedtime. Okay? Without boundaries, your nervous system never gets the signal that it's safe to power down. We also have this identity blurring. When you are always the counselor at work, in your family, with your friends, you lose space just to be you, just to be a person. Boundaries aren't walls we're putting up. They're definitions for other people of our expectations on how to treat us. They help you remember where you end and someone else begins. They also help others remember where you end and they begin. So let's talk about some practical work boundaries. These are not dramatic or career altering. These are small, usable shifts. First, end your sessions on time. Even an extra 5 minutes consistently adds up in your day. Okay, it's okay to let your client know, hey, we've got 5 minutes left. That's okay. Because ending on time communicates that your time matters, Structure matters and closure matters. It also protects your mental reset between sessions. Let's talk about email containment. You don't have to answer emails at night just because you can. You don't even have to have your work email connected to your phone, which I know a lot of us do. Why don't you try one designated email window in the afternoon, or a delayed send feature, or turning off notifications after hours, or deleting your work email off your phone? Or you might consider using AI to help save time drafting some of those emails. Availability is not the same as effectiveness. Okay, here, this is a great one. It's let me check my calendar. Okay, instead of immediately saying yes to whatever you're asked, practice pausing. Say, let me check my calendar and get back to you. Okay, that tiny sentence creates space, and space creates choice, because then you have time to go back and see, is this something I really have time and energy to do? And if you don't, that is okay. Also, protect your lunch. It sounds simple. It's not. And maybe if you don't work in a school system, you don't understand this, but protecting even 2 lunches per week is a radical act. Okay? You are not more dedicated because you skip eating. It's okay to close your door sometimes. Personal boundaries. Boundaries are not just important professionally. They show up at home too, right? Let's talk about not being the on-call therapist for everyone. Just because you're a counselor doesn't mean you are required to process every family conflict. It's okay to say, I care about you, but I'm off duty right now. Or simply say to yourself in your head, let them figure it out. This is beautiful. It's difficult, but it creates so much peace. Let them figure it out. Protect your mental decompression time. If you need 20 minutes after work to not talk, not solve, not respond, that is not avoidance. That is regulation. You shouldn't feel guilty for just needing that decompression time. Social energy boundaries. You don't have to attend every event. You don't have to over-explain declining. No thank you is a full sentence. It is okay to just say, I can't do that right now. So why do boundaries feel so hard for counselors? Boundaries are hard because many counselors tie their worth to being helpful, or they fear disappointing others, or they were always praised for being the responsible one, or also you might feel replaceable in the systems that you're in. But here's the truth. When you set a boundary, you are not rejecting people. You are choosing sustainability. Boundaries don't reduce your impact. They protect it, because you are going to be more effective, more efficient when you are protecting your time and your boundaries. Okay? So what are the benefits of honoring boundaries? I feel like you already know this, but I'm going to say it anyways. When you honor your boundaries consistently, you're going to start noticing less resentment, more clarity, improved presence in your sessions and in your meetings with students and clients. You're going to notice better emotional regulation, and you're going to definitely notice greater career longevity. Boundaries don't shrink your capacity. They stabilize it. They make you work better so that you can work longer. And I don't mean longer days, I mean longer lifespan. So If you take one thing from this episode, let it be this. You don't need to burn out before you set a boundary. I've heard a couple of stories this week. One was from a friend of mine and one was from a client. They literally went to the ER because one thought she was having a stroke and the other one thought she was having a heart attack. These were panic attacks because they were overextended. Okay, so don't wait until you are at that point to start setting boundaries around your peace. Okay, you are allowed to leave work on time. You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to say no. You are allowed to protect your peace. And you don't have to explain yourself endlessly to do any of these things. So I want you to choose one boundary this week, just one, and practice honoring it without apology. Boundaries are one of the greatest life skills we teach, but they are also one of the greatest life skills that we have to practice ourselves. You deserve the same emotional protection that you help others build. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the work that you do. If you have a topic that you'd love to share, I'm looking for guests. Reach out at nrizio@counselorhq.net. I'm going to link that email in the description. Or reach out if there's a topic that you'd love to hear about here. Remember, this podcast is for you. And I will see you next time. Take care of you.